Hey, the world's full of fantastic music. Each month, we explore an album of significance, its roots, how it makes us feel, and then banter about its influence and staying power. Join us on our journey as we dissect, discuss, and discover some of the world's greatest albums on The Sonic Collective.
Hello and welcome back to The Sonic Collective at thesonic.collective.com or on your favorite podcast platform. I am Sonic Collective member Darren Scott, and for the month of April 2021, it is my turn to make our next pick that our group will listen to, review, rate, and let us know if it kind of stands the test of time. We just finished a country music round, which was really interesting. I like those genre rounds because you get to learn and experience just in one genre, whereas sometimes, as per this round, we are just going to pick albums that we have discovered personally across the members, and there really is no theme. I actually was looking forward to this because we've done a few rounds, and I've kind of had this one artist in the back of my pocket for a few months, and that artist is the Sleaford Mods. Maybe some of you have heard of them. They are garnering, I guess, attention lately and kind of becoming a little more popular in, I guess, new punk, post-punk scenes and even fringe hip-hop. And I think that's interesting that I'm actually having troubles describing their genre a little bit because I ran across them as Spotify just nicely does recommendations sometimes, and I can't remember if it was in my Discover Weekly or Release Radar, but all of a sudden this song Tweet, Tweet, Tweet started playing for me, and it was just kind of catchy, just had this kind of a boom, 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 just this cool bass line, and it just kind of really simple beats, and then all of a sudden this voice comes in, and it's kind of this British guy yelling at me, but it was just catchy and different. And all of a sudden, it was just taking me back, and it was reminding me of all these kind of groups. It was kind of, I had recently saw a documentary on Rick Rubin, who had discovered this another English artist named Kate Tempest, and her whole thing is kind of this spoken word poetry style, and I kind of found it really interesting. And same thing, she was kind of playing over these kind of, I guess, hip hop, kind of soul inspired electronica, and it was really interesting. And Sleaford kind of reminded me of her, and it also reminded me. I'm a big Gang of Four fan, and actually that's another album we should pick, Gang of Four Entertainment, which came out in 1979, and they were an extremely influential British band, often said ahead of their time, and I encourage you to listen to that album, and it's true. And same thing, it's not quite spoken word, a little more sang, but edgy, raw, different. And you know, I like that word different. We just came off a country round, and we actually just, I had done Lady Antebellum, and don't get me wrong, great group, but just pure pop. It just didn't really click with us. It just was okay album, but it was just manufactured. No change in sound. They're not pushing any kind of style here. So that's what really drew me to the Sleaford Mods. It was just so different. I do love my hip hop and rap, and I love punk. So it was just this perfect smashing, and I'm loving discovering these new sounds. And I think, too, as I kind of started to learn about Sleaford Mods, I found there's a documentary, and it's called Bunch of Kunst, and it's Kunst, and forgive the language on that one. It's not spelled the same way, but I think, again, realize these are two dudes, which is Jason Williamson and Andrew Farn. They're both about 50. They're from Nottingham, England, and they started in 2007. Actually, Andrew joined in 2012, took over for another member, which I forget that name. I'll put that in the review. But they started, and really it's simple. Andrew just was a DJ. He kind of produced simple beats and really simple kind of hooks. He makes he doesn't try and hide that he's literally just getting on stage and pressing a button on a computer and standing there with a beer in his hand and kind of nodding his head while Jason Williamson does all the hard work. But it's interesting. It kind of adds to their vibe. And if you watch that documentary, which I believe in Canada is available on HBO Crave, but you see this, and it's just kind of, raw from the street. It's working class. The world's so fooked right now, as we would say, with all the world leaders going crazy, and thank God Trump's gone now, but the world's just in a bad place, and the pandemic here, and I really felt that this is the first group in a while that I feel has come up from the streets and is really, really raw. It, also reminded me of like early, Iggy and the Stooges, the Sex Pistols. Stooges, I'm thinking raw power. like that kind of vibe. So it just really intrigued me. You can tell I'm quite excited about it, so I should calm down here. I could see them, fitting in with some kind of contemporaries that I also think are pushing the boundaries, like a group like Dee Antwoord or Run the Jewels even, that are kind of pushing hip-hop to be a little more raw, a little more punk, and a little more, in your face. It takes us back to the Public Enemy kind of days too, right? And Rage Against the Machine, so which they actually cite as influences as well. Anyway, I'm kind of meandering, so I just want to introduce this band and the album. I don't even think I said what album, so I settled on Divide and Exit. I believe they have about 8 or 9 albums now, and they all are similar in a lot of ways, but they all each have a couple songs on them that are just really great. So I recommend going through the portfolio. But Divide and Exit did have that Tweet, Tweet, Tweet song that I really kind of liked, and it drew me into them. So I decided to pick that one. So anyway, I got to breathe here. Holy cow. I'm super excited to listen to this. I hope you are too. But my pick for April 2021 is the Sleaford Mods, Divide and Exit. Enjoy this and many more of our shows at thesoniccollective.com or on any of your podcast platforms. For now, I'm Darren Scott signing off for The Sonic Collective.
I get a shaky start to Tuesday, sweat stains on bus windows. I don't want to ruin my coat, but that's just the way it goes. Cheer up, you fucking bastard, that's all I heard him say.
Thanks for listening and exploring with us. We'll be back real soon with another pick and critique of albums that matter here at The Sonic Collective.